Well, defensively, did you think you guys gave a decent effort performance and they just hit shots, or were there things you could have done better defensively?
There's always things we can do better. You know, I talked on the radio before, like that is the matchup that I worried about the most. And I didn't see a guy on the roster that I say, okay, that's the one that can really slow him down, especially with his size and his skill set on the perimeter. It was certainly something going into the game that I was concerned about. You know, changing the defenses, I thought maybe we could throw them off a little bit, 2-3, maybe a 2-2-1, slow them down a little bit, and probably should have changed things earlier, you know, even in the first half. But we were right there with them early in the first half. Our offense probably just got too stagnant, and we certainly didn't make them. I mean, credit to him, 9 for 15, but we didn't obviously make him uncomfortable whatsoever. You know, we can look back at all his shots and we'll review it and take a look at what we can do better. But I told those guys in there, I need to get you guys out of there. We got to flush this. We got to flush it quick. We got to turn the page. We got Drexel on Saturday, and they're they're a really good team that just went into Villanova and got a win. So they're going to be playing with confidence too. We can't have let down on Saturday.
Coach, obviously, you know, like you said, Henson's performance stands out. But, you know, Carrington, a couple of his threes were step back, kind of like on, I think one of them was on 1 foot, you know, that kind of stuff. When that's happening, I mean, you know, 2-3 man, I mean, is there any, I mean, there's some of that stuff, there's nothing you could do, right? I mean,
yeah, I mean, the game is all about momentum and confidence, like Quinn was saying. I mean, last year we had that, you know, in their house, and things were going our way early, and we built that momentum, and we fed off of it, and they saw shots fall early, and they built that confidence, and that momentum snowballed in their direction. And, you know, Blake by himself hit 3 times as many threes as our entire team. You know, we were 3 for 20, and I don't know, you know, how I can fix that with our guys. You know, even, you know, I don't yell that much. Probably yelled at Seth. I was like, Seth, you got to take open shots. What are we doing? That's what you're out there to do. You get an open look, you got to take it. And JoJo, same thing in the corner. I mean, we can't be taking. You know, it's too hard a game at this level to turn down open shots. And when they're there, you got to shoot it with confidence. They're shooting it with confidence on that other end. We got to shoot it with confidence.
Coaches, to that end, with Seth in particular, is there anything else you feel like that could be done? Because it's been several games in a row now where the same thing's said, not taking open shots. It's kind of still an ongoing thing now, midway through this.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably stare at the ceiling tonight and figure out how I can do a better job coaching him. Well, I do it every night, trying to figure out, you know, what can I do to, you know, I'm not the type of guy that's going to tear him down whatsoever, and I'm always the guy that's trying to build him up. And but obviously that's not resonating right now, and he's in a slump. You know, we thought we got JoJo out of the slump after that last game, and you know, he was 0 for 5, 0 for 4 from 3. So it continues to kind of linger a little bit with all these guys, and so.
Are there any numbers of shots you would like these guys to take? Like you mentioned 0 for 5. Would you rather see an 0 for 8 rather than 0 for 4 or something like that?
No, I mean, it's just they gotta flush misses. I mean, I think it's a confidence thing.
Josh, you hinted yesterday that a cook was coming soon. Obviously, soon was today. So what'd you think of his performance? Obviously, his conditioning's not quite there yet, but what'd you think of him overall?
No, he gave us a defensive spark. That's kind of his forte. He's a guy that you can do a lot more things, especially in ball screen coverage. You can switch with him. He can sit down and guard guards, and he can help us protect the rim. He's active. He really runs the floor well. I think we can utilize him in offensive transition. But you know, you could see out there he is limited because, you know, he hadn't been cleared. But for you know, 3 or 4 days. So there's certainly we weren't gonna with his, you know, he's not in game shape yet. So 7 minutes, 8 minutes is probably top for him at this point right now. So that's going to continue to improve. But we certainly don't want to force the issue with him to make sure we're doing right by him, and that's first and foremost.
Sounds like you've known for a couple of days and that he had been.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, you know, it was a day-by-day situation. You know, we're you know, any hiccup could have in game preparation and practice would have certainly hindered that. So did I know for sure that he was going to be going today? No. But leading into it, you know, he had good solid through 2-3 days of practice, and that's limited as well, trying to figure out where he's at. So, you know, we got to a point where we thought we could use him for a limited amount of time. We're going to use him, and that's.
Take us through the moment. Like, does the call come from a doctor, and to you or to him?
I can't get into all that medical stuff in terms of, you know, his rights. So.
I mean, at some point, someone says it's okay. And what was that moment? I mean, there's got to be a moment of, you know, jubilation, joy.
Oh yeah, I mean, we're so happy for the kid. You know, like Quinn said, so much of these guys' life is built around the game of basketball, and the fear of him losing that, just like it's going on with Ray right now. You know, the fear of him losing basketball is crushing. It's crushing, especially with even going back to Ray with mental health and so much of his hope and positivity has been built around the game, and it almost seems like that he's being forced to choose between education and the game of basketball, because there's all kinds of people reaching out to him to try to get him to go a different direction, and education is important to him. And the fact that you know, we haven't got the go ahead on him is a complete shame.
Going back to the George Mason, you had a Cook in your starting lineup that night. Do you think there is a chance or possibility down the road, you know, kind of getting him back into that kind of role, or things change now?
I mean, I can't look that far ahead. I mean, I'm going to go day by day and figure out what puts us in the best position. And right now, Quinn's in a way better spot for us at the 4, so we're going to go with Quinn.
Josh, if I can go back for a second, you said something that caught my attention. People are reaching out to RaeQuan to try to get him to go in a different direction.
There's a lot of people in the game of basketball that want to profit off kids, and certainly he can make money playing basketball. I don't think that's a secret. He's a very good basketball player. So, yes, I've had conversations with his mother and himself, people that want to profit off him. Agents in particular that continue to hit him up, that try to pull him away so he can play the game of basketball. So from my standpoint, what makes zero sense is, you know, does a kid have to choose between education and basketball? He wants basketball in his life, and he wants an education. So here we are in a point to where, you know, he has to make that decision. And right now, you know, he's holding on to the hope that, you know, that something will change here and he can play basketball and still get his education.
Forgive me if I'm reading between the lines, but it sounds like time is ticking here.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. I mean, he's got a really good head on his shoulders, and it's important. He's in a really good space here. But don't think for 1 second not having the game of basketball in his life isn't dragging him down. And he thrives on hope and optimism, and right now he's holding on as much hope as possible that the NCAA will make a decision on him and allow him to play. And it doesn't just affect him, it affects everybody on the team. I mean, we sit here and, you know, game prep each and every week, you know, thinking we're going to get some news, and it just seems to be drug out and drug out and drug out.
Coach, you mentioned doing right by the kid and then kind of what you're saying now about RaeQuan. Is there at all any wrestling for you, or eventually you'd have to tell the kid it might just be best for you to give up WVU because it's just not going to happen?
No, I'm not. Never would I do that. I mean,
just mean like if it's best for him eventually, if you just think this waiver is not going to get turned around.
I don't think I'd ever tell a kid that education is not important. and there's time for basketball. But don't think for a second there ain't people out there trying to pull them in a different direction, pull them away from education.
Josh, when the team is, I guess, scuffling right now, you said confidence a couple times, just consistency. What do you go to? Like when you call timeouts and try to get things back on track, do you feel good enough about 1, 2, 3 things to say, all right, we can get to the next timeout, we can get a run going, and where do you begin?
Each scenario is different, wherever we're at in the point in the game, and try to go to the hot hand and try to go to the mismatch that we think that we might have defensively, So I thought we'd have a advantage down low with Jesse, and I think they realized, as the game played out, that they were going to double him, and they were effective with it. And if we can't, capitalize off these double teams, we're going to continue to struggle. And usually, when you get those that ball movement out of the double team, you're going to get open shots, and we got to knock down shots when that's the case. And if I'm going against us, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to continue to double team and be as physical as possible with Jesse Edwards, and that's going to be people's game plan. It's just that's the way it is right now.
Coach, thank you.